You are listening to The Mismatch, presented by FanDuel. America's #1 sportsbook has made it easier than ever to get in on the action during an NBA playoff game, even after tip-off. Just look for the live SGP tab on the FanDuel Sportsbook app and build your bet slip. Then sit back, relax, and track the outcome of your parlay right in the app. And if you don't already have it, download the FanDuel app today to make every moment more. The Ringer is committed to responsible gambling. Please visit rg-help.com to learn more about the resources and helplines available, and listen to the end of the episode for additional details. You must be 21 and present in select states. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com.
Welcome to The Mismatch. I'm Chris Vernon, and joining me, he does every week from TheRinger.com, is Dave Jacoby. Jacoby!
What? What a night! I'm shocked. I'm floored. I feel like I've been struck by lightning twice.
Aaron Gordon just hit a three-point shot for the Nuggets to take game one against the Oklahoma City Thunder, 121-119, after they had just played a 7-game series, hard-fought series against the Clippers, had 1 day rest. The Nuggets have been sitting around, the Thunder have been sitting around for a week and a half after disposing of the Grizzlies, and it felt like the Thunder were in control all night. And then in the fourth quarter, the Nuggets just started making play after play after play. And then I thought some incredible folly by the Thunder down the stretch. This was, I've talked so many times about when it comes to the playoffs and the value of a veteran team. And a lot of it is the experience of being in these spots, the no panic, the know exactly what we want to get to, the problem solving of it all. And as you got down the stretch of that game, you saw the Nuggets just kept on at it. And then the Thunder, they start missing a couple of shots. And then I for the life of me, cannot understand why they started fouling up three so early.
Immediately in the backcourt.
So early. I mean, you're just giving them buckets. I understand that there is an opportunity for a team to knock down a three and tie, but that is the Nuggets are not a 3-point shooting team. That's not what they do. In fact, they're one of the lowest rates in the entire NBA, might be the lowest rate in the NBA. I understand the theory of, hey, we don't even want to give them the opportunity to tie, but there was so much time left. And then they even fouled them again, giving them, they're letting them go to the free throw line and getting 2 points to cut this to a 1-point game when they're up by 3.
Chris, Jokic is on the bench. Don't forget that part. Jokic is on the bench. They took Jokic out and they inbound the ball and they foul immediately 75 feet from the basket to allow Jokic to come back in.
And Aaron Gordon goes and makes them pay by knocking down the free throws. The other thing is, didn't I read all season that this was the best defensive team in the history of the NBA?
All right. Timeout. 20-second timeout. First of all,
can you get a stop? Like,
first of all, I want to zoom out. I want to zoom out for a second first. We just saw 2 absolutely mind-blowing NBA playoff basketball games. Like, we're now in the second night. Now. Like mind-blowing NBA.
Unbelievable night.
Like, I don't want to drill down to the details just at the moment because the game ended literally like 45 seconds ago.
45 seconds ago.
I'm shocked. We've all seen comebacks like this before. We've all seen this happen before. And Verno, let's not forget this. Me and you were texting the whole time, and you clearly have an investment in the Thunder losing. You do. Just admit it to yourself that you do. Because you want,
because you say every single show you call me out that I'm the only one that's been here telling everybody that I got it. They're amazing. They got to take their lumps like everybody else.
But
while everybody else, no. While everybody else put the crown on them, and they said, it's really Celtics and the Thunder and there's nobody else. You learn tonight. And you'll learn again, There's a 75-year history of this.
Oh, and let's not forget this, though, because let's talk about the details now. Let's not forget this. You talk about youth and battle scars all the time, and people who listen to this pod have heard it so much. Chet Holmgren steps to the line.
Oh, wait, no. You know what? Hey, they've been busting my ass about this, too. They bust my ass. They listen to the mismatch, and they say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh, does Houston still need to take scars? That was after Game 6. Guess who didn't tweet me after Game 7? Does Houston need to take their scars? That crowd, they were non-existent. Guess who's not tweeting me tonight? Who's not tweeting me tonight?
Well, both of these series are not over. It's not a one-game series, 7-game series. But Chet Holmgren steps to the line, misses the first one.
Time out. I'm buying an Aaron Gordon jersey right now. I'm going to Fanatics, and I'm buying
Aaron Gordon is also the guy who got the rebound, has Murray and Jokic at the three-point line with their hands in the air. Be like, bro, kick it out. They literally are wide butt naked open. Your two best players. And he decides, you know what? Forget it. I'm just going to yeet this right at the basket and misses. Like, it is so hilarious. Fragile the way this goes. But the point I was trying to make is Chet Holmgren stepping up to the line and missing the first one so many times. And you watch more NBA than I do. I've been watching forever. Usually the guy that can shoot misses the first one and makes the second one. Very rarely does like an over 70% free throw shooter miss them both. And that, to me, is youth, pressure, and playoffs. It's just there's no other reason.
Can we talk about the friggin' masterpiece that we just saw, too? The guy Jokic had 42, 22, and 6. But 42 and 22.
You said something earlier that really was right. This was a Thunder victory. This was a Thunder victory.
The whole game.
Because I'm getting ready to do the pod. I'm thinking about what I'm going to say, and this and that, and like not a single part of me for the majority, the 99% of the time was I thinking, let's get ready to react to a Nuggets win in Game 1. This was a Thunder victory, and I honestly thought that they did a good job defending Jokic, even though he had 42 points.
Yeah, it was until the young team with the young coach vomited all over themselves. So I can't believe it. Honestly, I can't believe that happened.
Talk your shit, Chris Vernon.
I can't believe it. Color me shocked. What are you fouling up 3 for and just giving them free throws?
I like fouling up 3. I've always supported fouling up 3, but you don't do it
limited amount of time
75 feet from the basket with 11 seconds. Let them get into the front court, throw one pass to whoever, and then foul them before they get in the shooting motion.
They had done it. No, they had done it the possession before too, Jacoby. Jokic caught it at the top.
But he was about to shoot. He was about to shoot. Like he was in a threatening position.
That would have been on the shot.
But he was in a threatening position. But fouling back there when you're not threatening to shoot, it's what you're supposed to do, I guess. But you can let 2 seconds go by, and we just learned what 2 seconds look like. And this is what
I would have not kept turning that into a 1-point game.
Do you know what I always say? Like, hey, Verno, it's not about the last possession. We always talk about everything that happened throughout the game. I think this was about the last possession. I'm going to tell myself to eat shit because this was actually just about the last possession. And one thing I love is Christian Brown got the rebound, and he's coming up into the front court. He's got this look in his face like, me? I'm supposed to have the ball? He's like, I'm not supposed to have the ball. And then he gets to Westbrook, and then I'm looking at Westbrook being like, oh, no.
Oh, no.
I'm like, of all the people, because I like Russell Westbrook. I don't know why, but I still want him to, like, fail in a big moment again like that. I'm just thinking to myself, like, Russell, please just, like, make a tough layup or get fouled and make 2 or do something. And then he finds Aaron Gordon. They don't even need a 3, by the way. They don't need a 3.
Well, no, they do not need a 3. And how about Westbrook had almost hit what looked like, maybe a game winner against Oklahoma City earlier when he had the wide open shot that he had missed earlier. And then what's crazy is that Westbrook shot happened, and then like a million things happened since then. Right? Like that was going to be like the big, like, oh my God, can you imagine if Russ would have made that in his return to Oklahoma City in a playoff game? And then like a million things happened after that Westbrook shot that made you forget that even like was a crucial possession in the game, where it was like, hold on now. How is that not Jokic or Murray taking that shot? How is that not Jokic or Murray?
Jokic hits so many just big threes when they're down like 7 to make it 4. You know what I mean? Like, It's just like he hit so many big shots at the end. I think he had 26 in like the middle of the third. It ended up with 42.
Well, and you hear this crazy number that I think Ian Eagle mentioned at one point where they were talking about the turnovers, because the Nuggets, look, for them to be able to win this game tonight with the 18 turnovers that they had, you want to talk about playing directly into the Thunder's hands, literally playing into the Thunder's hands. It's the 18 turnovers that they had, because I think Ian Eagle said at one point during the broadcast, this team, it's 20% of their points come off of turnovers. So, like, that's number one. And it's crazy because they got to halftime. They had thrown the ball all over the yard, and they were down like 10, I think. And if you recall, the first possession of the second half, they turned it over for like a layup the other way. And Alex Caruso was being a menace.
So
knocking down seemingly every corner 3 that he took.
Oh, and just doing everything. Like, I remember
they were just Westbrook in control tonight.
Westbrook got a defensive rebound and was like, I'm gonna go start up and then Caruso was so good tonight. I honestly felt this. I felt like this. I felt like the Thunder played good defense on Jokic, and he scored 42 points and had 26 rebounds.
Well, and the only way that Denver is able to combat that huge turnover disparity, which leads to Oklahoma City playing exactly the way that they want to play. They're poking the ball away. They're getting out on fast breaks. They're spreading it out.
Oh, yeah,
they're knocking out shots. But they absolutely destroyed them on the boards tonight. The Nuggets ended up with 63 rebounds, 21 offensive rebounds.
So, Chris, wait. I'm sorry. I might have forgotten. What was the Thunder's biggest problem last season?
Well, that was rebounding.
But they got Isaiah Hartenstein.
Hartenstein
had
got 9.
Chet back.
He had 9.
They shored that up. Didn't they shore that up?
How many times did Chet Holmgren get tomato chested? Oh my God. Tomato chest. How about Westbrook running straight into his chest, knocking him into the stanchion and laying it up? I was like,
but he didn't even say anything to him. He just looked at him. Like it's almost. I would almost rather you talk trash to me after that than you just stare at me. At me.
Hey, Chet's going through the same thing. I've seen a lot of guys go through this, especially with the long, gangly guys that come into the league and they're still early. They will fill out, and then they will become Evan Mobley. They will become Jaren Jackson. They will
Giannis.
Become this guy. Yeah. And this guy's kind of still on the track of like, you see him and you see the kid in Houston, Jabari, and they're still light. They're still light, right? And they can still get bodied. And so when you've got guys that are just crashing into you, and I'll tell you this, the Nuggets, I felt like Christian Brown was in the mix all the time. He ended up with 13 rebounds tonight, Jacoby. 13 rebounds. And I'm like, you know what? Sometimes, and now, of course, I'm not keeping up with that. They're showing, Jokic's stats there a bunch. They're showing, like, if a guy goes to the free throw line, so you had an awareness of what Gordon was doing. But this was one of those where then the game ends, and I go and I look at the box score, and I'm like, it makes sense. Like it wasn't, my eyes did not deceive me. I felt like Christian Brown was like in the mix, grabbing rebound, like big rebounds all the time. All the time throughout this game, like in the middle of people. And I was like, 13 rebounds is a enormous number for a perimeter guy.
I think it's important to say this. This was a Thunder win. They were winning the game handily throughout, and it just felt like they kind of coasted and shit the bed at the end. In terms of like big picture of this series, like I know you're doing a little victory lap here, but you can only run like one quarter around the loop on the track with this victory lap, because I think there's a lot of questions to be asked of the Nuggets moving forward. I do not think they win this series.
Okay, they just played 7 games and then had 1 day rest. They should have gotten murdered tonight. That was fed to the Wolves. This was learn everything you can in game 1, make your adjustments, and try to steal game 2. That's what this game was. I don't think you understand the importance of what just took place.
Well, no, that
was crazy.
I think there's a theme. There's a theme from this evening, which is, and we'll get to the next game. The theme of the evening is one team is coming in from being dragged through the mud for weeks, being put on the precipice of going home for the season day after day after day, and going to the end of games, and the other team coasted, and they're just at different speeds and intensity when they meet each other.
This is what I have also said to you 100,000 times. Again, I know they were an amazing regular season team, and I know it many times falls on deaf ears. I've asked you 100,000 times, SGA, one of the best players in the world. Played like it again.
Played well tonight.
Yeah, no, great. And I've asked you 1,000 times, who's the second best guy? And in fact, we talked before we went to the playoffs.
Alex Caruso.
Who's the running mate that you want?
Alex Caruso. Did J-Dub make a big impact in this game? Did Chet Holmgren make a big impact in this game?
Okay, so J-Dub was 5 for 20 tonight.
Yeah, Chet had a couple nice moves in the first, second quarter or whatever that was, but the other people on the Thunder, outside of strangely Alex Caruso, did not impact the game in a meaningful way.
Well, and this is when I always talk about the problem solving, and we're going to get to this with the Warriors a little bit later. The reason Alex Caruso is taking all those shots is because they're allowing Alex Caruso to take all those shots.
Duh.
They will live with Caruso shooting it. They will live with Dort shooting it. You are going to see guys, but what they're going to do is try to make it as hard as they possibly can on the guys that could really beat them. And so these guys, when you are a young team, you're now going through that in many cases for the first or second time. Now, and again, it's all problem solving. That's why you have to go through it so many times, because we will get to that series in a little bit. But I mean, I've listened the whole weekend of people just demolishing and already trading Jalen Green. And allow me to tell you, Jalen Green was admittedly not very good in that series. In fact, abysmal.
Bad. Yeah.
He was going through it for the first time. Right? Jalen Williams is an infinitely better player than a guy that goes 5 for 20. He is an infinitely better player. But once you raise your status onto that chalkboard, and now that other team is going to say, he likes to do this, he likes to do this, and he likes to do this. So here's what we're going to do. Now the best players are able to problem solve. And sometimes it takes a while, right? It takes you a few times through it before you're going to understand. And young players, in many cases, will end up, unfortunately, really, really, really struggling. And I do not, again, I know there's some people that are going to say, of course Jalen Williams is not ready to be the second best player on a championship team. That's crazy to me.
See, well, listen. I'm not going to hand them the Larry O'Brien trophy, but I believe that the Cavaliers, the Celtics, and the Thunder are very, very much still favorites in their respective series.
Well, they have all lost their first game at home.
I understand that. But I'm looking at this game the Thunder played better basketball. They just shit the bed at the end. That's it. That's what they did. Like, the Thunder played better basketball. And I know you're doing your victory lap. And this, and I've done this for a long time, and so have you. This backs up all of the things that you have said all season. So you feel a certain way right now. But I think the Thunder win this series. I really do.
Well, you're never going to believe this. I don't agree.
What?
Wow. Hey, wait, so are they, who are they signing? Like, they're going to sign like Aaron Donald to try to guard Jokic?
Well, the Jokic thing is interesting.
You think there's somebody on their team that could go do a good job?
Well, the way that they guarded Jokic was interesting because it was like when he got the ball, because I watched them play Luka. I've referenced this game a bunch of times. They completely took Luka out of the game. They made him look like a child. They would double him at like half court. But they wouldn't like double Jokic on the touch. They would just kind of hedge towards him, and you could tell him processing. You could see him processing, being like, is this a double team? Are they open? Are they not open? Do I pass? Do I not? And I felt like it was effective somewhat. But ultimately,
I mean, look.
He figured that out.
Jamal Murray was 6 for 16 tonight.
I thought he was going to score. I thought he was going for 40. Didn't you think Jamal Murray was going for 40?
In the first quarter?
Yeah.
He ended up 6 for 16. Michael Porter was 1 for 8.
He played?
These are theoretically the shooters you kick out to, right? And it was, look, we need to give the flowers to Aaron Gordon. Obviously, not only the game winner, but the hustle play to get the timeout in the scramble. It's one of those like just straight winning plays. And even the nuts to shoot that after he had gone up in traffic. I thought he got fouled by 2 guys, by the way, but went up in traffic and threw up that bull crap.
There's an angle where you can see Jamal Murray with both of his hands up.
Yes.
There's an angle where Jamal Murray is like, you get the rebound, I take the shot.
But he just stuck with it. And then, obviously, I mean, dude, shooting that 3 on the break. And he was like, I saw his walk-off interview. He's like, I thought, given what was in front of me, I thought that was going to be the best available shot. So I took it.
That's basically translation. It's either me or Russell Westbrook. So what do you think? Translation is like, I thought
choose your own adventure.
Yeah. It's like when did that last? I mean, again, I didn't see anything after this. Like, it just happened minutes ago. But like, Christian Brown gets the ball and he's dribbling it up with like 10 seconds left. And he's just like, wait a second. Am I supposed to do something? And then he gives it to Russ. And then Russ has got the ball. And I said this before. I was like, oh no. Is he going to like blow a layup or something? I felt so many emotions in that moment. When Aaron Gordon, who just missed a shot, like imagine how you felt as a basketball player, getting a really tough offensive rebound and trying to be the hero, looking at your teammates with their arms in the air and be like, you know what? I got this. And then not making it to be able to rise up from 3 when it's not your thing. It was one of those Sam Cassell big ball celebrations. And you either make them or you don't. That's probably like a 22% proposition, right? 22% proposition right there. And he hit it.
You know this. And I know you just want to be on the opposite side of me. You know they had to win that game. You can't lose that game. You can't lose that game.
Who, the Thunder?
You can't lose that game.
I think the Thunder win the series. I just believe in their depth. I just do. And their defense, they were winning the entire game.
Depth doesn't mean shit in the playoffs.
Oh, disagree.
Depth is so overrated. Disagree.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
You're a Knicks fan, for God's sakes. How much depth did you worry about with the Celtics tonight? All right, what depth?
You ready to talk about Deuce McBride? You ready to talk about Deuce McBride?
Or it's a one player. Like, these teams are playing 6 guys. Give me a break. You
see Precious's minutes?
I mean, look, by the time the friggin' Warriors thing was over, Mikal Bridges played 50 minutes.
When he went down at the end of the game,
to me about depth?
When he went down at the end of the game, I was like, I don't think he's hurt. I think he's just tired. Like, remember when he went down after he got a rebound or something? I was like, the announcer's like, oh, and he's slow to get up. I'm like, of course he's slow to get up. He's been playing for 50 minutes. Congratulations.
Look, Alex
Nuggets.
Caruso was great. Nobody
So
else
good.
nobody else off the Oklahoma City bench had more than 5 points.
You know what? I'm a little upset at the Thunder, not just because they back up everything
I bet you are. I bet you are.
Because we've been talking for 20 minutes now, and we haven't even spoke about the Knicks win.
So, are you of the I don't care how this happened, I'm not focusing on this whole 45 missed threes and Brown and Tatum being 14 for 43 and 5 for 25 from 3 and Porzingis only playing 13 minutes. Like, none of that means anything. They were up 20 and got walked down, and the Knicks came away with the win. And so, yes, all of these things are extenuating circumstances, so it seems. But look, that's what basketball games are, right? Like, things happen. And yes, they just missed more threes than anyone's ever missed in a playoff series. I mean, that was abominable. All right, I know you're coming from a Knicks perspective. So let me just say.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just say, if I'm a Celtics fan, I'm losing my mind over that. I mean, your rim protection is Karl Anthony Towns, for God's sakes. Like, how are we never going to the basket? This is incredible. Like, dude, in the third quarter, they took 20 shots. 19 of them were threes.
You texted that to me. I didn't believe it. I honestly did not believe it. It doesn't make sense. Can't you get a putback?
Basketball. That's not basketball.
A fake one dribble shot, a floater, like something, like nothing.
Anything. No cut to the basket. No drive.
Just like
nothing.
I'm shocked by that. And there's a quote from Jaylen Brown. He says, "In those spots where we have momentum." Well, first of all, if that was the case, it's the team that's down by 20 that needs to fire up all those threes. He said, in those spots where we have momentum, we can't just fire up threes. I felt like we settled in the second half a lot. You think? And I'm going to say this is we were texting during the game. I love that Cavs-Pacers game that we all watched on Sunday, right? I felt that was like high-level playoff basketball, great shot making on both sides. Donovan Mitchell getting to the basket, the Pacers operating and getting good threes. What I thought tonight was kind of gross. Like, it was just no one played well.
First half. The first half, and I tweeted this out, there's 27 fouls and 39 free throws. Okay? In a 24-minute half, that is disgusting. 39 free throws in 24 minutes of basketball.
Not a good watch.
Nobody wants to watch that. There was no game flow. To wit, the second half and overtime. So we're adding 5 more minutes. There was 14 total fouls called. And there were 18 free throws. That's the rest of the game. That second half, there was like a real flow to it. Now, it was just a bunch of Celtics clanked threes and then the Knicks doing something on the other end. But at least I'm not like, it just felt like we got the halftime of that game. I'm like, yo, they have got to cool out on this. Nobody wants to see some 80 free throw game. This is not basketball.
I hate doing like ref analysis because I generally don't care about the refs, but I felt like it's a very inconsistent whistle to what's been happening
half to the second half.
Exactly. Not just that, but also what's been happening this entire playoffs to like that game. And the Knicks have just come out of this Detroit battle, which was very physical with the refs letting them play, pushing and moving screens and grabbing off ball and all kinds of stuff. And they get into this game and it seems like it's a touch whistle all of a sudden. That's an adjustment. And then it got bad.
Yeah, and it got very goofy tonight in the Nuggets Thunder because first half kind of the same way. And then third quarter, it felt like Jokic had gotten in their ears. And so now the Nuggets start getting a bunch of calls. And then the fourth quarter, then the Thunder started getting calls at the very beginning of it. And then the last 5 minutes, they just let the damn thing become an all-out war.
Yeah,
and I was like,
I know that
what is happening?
I know that no one who talks about the NBA is ever allowed to criticize Jokic, but he complains about calls, and you watch the replay, like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like you elbowed Chet running down the court. You elbowed him in the chest, and then you're gonna act like you got fouled. And then he had one where his arms are not straight up and down. They're clearly like 45 degrees forward, and Chet leads into him and gets a bucket, and then he acts like he got fouled.
He also has a temper too. He almost knocked out Lou Dort on that flagrant foul. I was like, oh my God.
I think there's a level of Jokic frustration this season I haven't seen before. And I said, just keep an eye on it. I just feel like he's more frustrated this season than I've seen him before. But can we talk about the New York Knickerbockers?
Yeah, let's go back to the Knicks. Look, now, are you going to apologize? I'm going to call you out here. At one point, you texted me and you said, Mikal Bridges has as many points as he does first-round picks that were traded for him.
That's an objective fact. That was an objective fact at the time.
He made so many winning plays. It was unbelievable. I was thinking of you down the stretch. I'm like, you're worth every pick now. Dude. I mean, ended up 8 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists.
All right, let's slow down. 8 points. 8 points for 5 draft picks. It's not a huge game.
Hold on now. 7 assists, 6 rebounds, 3 steals, 2 blocks, and played over 50 minutes. And ripped the ball away from Jaylen Brown to win the game.
I have another take on that. First of all, we're going to discuss all of this, but obviously I'm laser focused on this game. I've got my son with me, and he's up late, and I'm sitting there. And, remember, Cat had that weird foul, which was, I think, an intentional foul that did get called, clearly not in the shooting motion. So it's a second out of bounds. And they put Brown all the way in the backcourt, which is something I always love. I'm not going to sit here and act like I've studied ATO plays. You know what I mean? I'm not that guy. But they put him all the way in the backcourt to get him momentum running forward. And then they break him away from the ball, which is so counterintuitive. I thought it was a brilliant play. Do you know what else it was? Bad pass. That pass didn't hit him in the chest. It was in front of him, in between him and Bridges. So I read that as, honestly, good play by Bridges, but bad pass was my first thought when I saw it happen. And net was just with, what was it, 3 seconds left, right? Yeah, down by 3 seconds left. With 3 seconds, as you saw, when Brunson missed that really good look at the end of regulation, that was a layup for him. A layup.
By the way, how about this? I know you say you don't study out of timeout. How about the Celtics not even to get it off a shot?
Well, that was
on the Tatum one.
That was 0.5 seconds, and he's not even facing the basket when he caught it. But you saw the Knicks say, we have 5 seconds left. Yeah. I'm going to take the ball out because I can get it back. With 3 seconds, you can operate a little bit. But they throw this cross-court thing to Brown, and it was just a bad pass. It didn't even get to him. If that hits him in the chest, he can up fake, he can move, he can do things with it.
By the way, we need to give Cat his flowers.
No flowers for Cat. None.
No, hold on. That pass, that should have been the game winner.
Should have been.
That pass was unbelievable.
But that's also
get him right in stride. I mean, that shot by Brunson goes in.
That is scripted.
I got it, but that shot goes in 97 out of 100 times.
If we're giving flowers for passes, all of the flowers, I'm taking them from Cat that you gave him. Before you're handing them to Cat, I'm ripping them out of your hands, and I'm giving them to Josh Hart for the OG pass. Because everybody, including myself, is like, where's Brunson on the court? We know he's going to get it. I've watched a million Knicks games. Everybody just gives the ball to Brunson in a clutch spot. And even his eyes were on Brunson. And OG made a great cut, but he wasn't wide open. That was a tough needle thread pass to OG that Hart gets all the credit for, because that was the play that changed the game.
It felt like Hart was making every hustle play on the Knicks side, and Drew Holiday was making all the hustle. He was the only one making all the hustle plays.
Derek White, too.
Derek White made some
great plays. Yeah, he hit a big three. That rebound he got was just crazy. I don't know how they got that timeout. But
yeah, that was crazy.
I don't know how but Derek White, I thought Derek White played really well. He did, and Drew Holiday played really well. And
by the way, do you know Derek White shot 16 threes tonight?
That's not true. Where are you getting these stats? Are these real?
The box score. Look at it.
He
shot 16 threes.
16 threes?
Yeah, it's Curry.
How many did Steph Curry shoot in Game 7? Like 6?
He was 5 of 16 from 3.
Oh, there's
unheard of.
But do you know what this did is it gave both of these series juice. And the same thing with Cavs Pacers. It's like, oh, we got series now. Because the way that it was going with the Thunder and the Nuggets, and the way that it was going with the Celtics and the Knicks, there's a part that's like, oh man, like it's not going to get fun until the conference finals. Tonight, like, really reignited my passion and emotion and enthusiasm about playoff basketball, dude.
Jacoby, the Celtics were up, I think 20 with 6 minutes.
6:19. Yeah.
In the third.
Yeah.
I mean, you're toast.
Not just that, it's also like 65-85. It's not like it's like, 95-75 where everyone's scoring and everyone's hitting threes and firing at all cylinders. That was not a good game for the Knicks.
Hey, those 2 Brunson step backs. Oh. I jumped. Hey, but no, my son was in here, and it's become this running joke between us over the course of this last weekend. We were together this weekend, and I had done a show on Friday locally, and we had gotten into a discussion. We were talking about like jersey sales and all this other stuff, and I was like, it's kind of wild. I was like, because almost all of like the guards are like super popular with kids.
Yep.
And I was like, but Brunson is not like, I get it. I understand in New York he is, but I'm saying like nationwide, worldwide, like Brunson is not taking hold like Curry did, like SGA has right now. Kids really like SGA, whatever. And so I was like, you know what? When I get home, I'm going to ask my son, because he is a teenage kid who's watched the NBA.
He's the demo.
Life.
He's the demo.
And I was like, why do kids not care about Jalen Brunson in the way I would think they would as a little guy doing the incredible? And he goes, because he's so fundamental. And I was like, what? He's just like fundamental. It's like, like almost like guard Tim Duncan or something. Yeah.
It's footwork.
I said, you don't appreciate footwork? And he started laughing. And then tonight, Jalen Brunson makes those 2 plays, and I said, footwork. He started laughing. He's like, all right, it is what it is. You know
what I told my son? I said, you see that leprechaun in the middle of the court? We got a leprechaun too. So I was like, you see that leprechaun in the middle of the court? We got a leprechaun too. We got a magic little guy too. But also, let me say this. This needs to be said. It's important to me. Jalen Brunson put 2 fucking hands on the ball and then tried to dribble it again and then threw the ball between the guy in the corner and the guy in the wing in huge spots. Like, I think we're all going to remember the 2 threes.
You're right.
But he missed 2 huge layups, and he literally grabbed the ball with 2. A point guard in the NBA for like 9 years, grabbed the ball with 2 hands and was like, ooh, bad idea. Now I'll dribble it and hope the 3 referees and the 20,000 people here don't notice. And then he tried to, remember when he was kind of caught in a spot? He tried to kick it to the corner, but he also tried to kick it to the wing at the same time and just threw it into the stands. Like, I'm sitting there being like, yeah, greatest closer in the game, but he just gave up 2 home runs.
He's not always the best playmaker.
He's just not.
No. But he is awesome. He is awesome. And it's like, it's one of those guys, like you like feel you're in a tight game like that.
We got a guy.
Like, we got this guy.
We got a guy.
How many times was Jason Tatum settling for those stupid ass step back threes? That was crazy.
And as you say it to yourself, I'm like, he's going to take a step back. Going to take a step back. Going to take a step back. But he has these stretches, like I think it was the beginning of the second quarter, where he had like 3 in a row, and it was they winning sort of like Kawhi shots. We're just like, oh, this is unstoppable. Like, he's just better than anyone that we could put in front of him. Bridges, OG, Cat. Like, we can't put anyone in front of this guy that could ever stop him. And then he misses 4 in a row. And he got hot twice and cold twice.
And I know you say you're not persuaded by these game 1 victories, but man, you steal home court. Like, once you get to this level, when you get to the second round, these are now good teams that are usually very good on their home floor. And so now Boston's got to get it done in the Garden. Now Cleveland's got to get it done in Indiana, which will be a hornet's nest. Now, the Thunder have to go get it done in altitude. Like, it's a major thing to catch that game one on the road. It's not the end-all, be-all. What I'm saying is when you get to this level, these were monstrous semifinal wins for those road teams. Obviously, I guess it's 3-0 now, right?
Yeah, I'm about to say, I was like, I think
it's 3-0,
quote-unquote underdog won all three of them because we have tomorrow night.
And we'll see if the Warriors could hold serve and do it against Minnesota, I guess. But three of them have already done it. You say that.
No chance, bro.
Okay.
No chance. I'm giving the Warriors no chance in this series.
I know you aren't. Neither is anybody
else. No chance.
It's this utter disrespect. It's utter disrespect for veteran teams. But allow me to tell you, I promise you, the warts you have not seen from Minnesota because the Lakers could not.
Well, I mean, the Lakers weren't exactly. Yes, fair.
And I got it. Houston is a poor offensive team that was maybe a little easier to scheme up than some, but that Golden State defense, when it locks in and they get you into a half-court execution game, can get the stops. They could get let me tell you what I say this 1,000 times. The playoffs are about problem solving. What the best teams can do, they dictate the terms of engagement. You're going to have to take this shot. You're going to have to take these shots. You're not going to get to take this shot you're comfortable with. And your role players that you love so much, they're going to have to beat us.
To that point, I'm not done with the Knicks. I want to say this. I'm a basketball fan before a Knicks fan. I say it a million times. Why aren't the Celtics going back to Hack-a-Mitch when it worked so well in the first half?
Maybe because they got some integrity.
No, seriously, honestly, I'm sitting there watching and being like, it worked. Why would you not go back to it? I started looking up the rules. I started looking up the rules on my phone. I was like, is there a rule against doing it twice? Why would they not do this? It broke the flow of the Knicks offense.
I understand.
It mucked up the game. It was extremely effective, and they just didn't do it again. And I don't know why. Are they scared of Precious Achiuwa? Hawk Porty's going to come in and score 20? What's going to happen?
I think they found some integrity. That's what I hope. I hope they found some integrity because that is a bastardization of the game I love. That's ridiculous.
That's fair to say.
In the first half. Okay,
but that's for the competition committee to figure out, not for Joe Mazzulla to figure out.
Okay, the second thing is, I think you probably don't want to keep on adding fouls.
Put in your guy, former Grizzly Xavier Tillman.
It's going to be a hard-fought game down the stretch,
Put in your guy. He's still
that is just there. The basketball game's turning into intentional fouling.
Dude, I don't like it. But that's for the pathetic. Competition committee to figure out, not Joe Mazzulla. Again, I'm a Knicks fan. I love that they didn't do it. Love that they didn't do it. But I'm sitting there watching, being like, I looked up the rules.
If you do that in the first half of basketball games, you have no dick and balls, and Mazzulla has dick and balls. So I give him credit. Yeah, I didn't like that he did it, but at least he stopped doing it. Come on.
I was shocked. No. I was honestly shocked.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the people that used to defend James Harden's just playing the game that they're, when he would do the rip through and he would play for the fouls all the time.
They changed that rule.
I got it.
I thought we had this whole conversation in that Clippers Rockets series with DeAndre Jordan. It was like, we got to change the rules, and you can't do it in the last 2 minutes.
The end of the game. The end of the game.
Because it's 2 minutes, dude. That was nuts. The other thing I want to talk about is Karl-Anthony Towns. I thought that he got 2 bad fouls called on him. The Jason Tatum contest, Tatum clearly jumped into him, but I get that call gets called sometimes. But I thought the one where he put his left hand on, I think it was Jaylen Brown's stomach and contested with his right, I didn't think that was a call at all. I didn't think that was a foul at all.
I'm giving Towns a little bit of a break on this game because he rebounded very well. And the other thing he did was, I thought and again, this has been an issue for him in the playoffs where he's gotten the goofy fouls that takes him out of the game. But like, it has been a thing, and then you see it, and it's like he's never back in the flow in the same way that he was, right? Like, I mean, it's his fault for getting on, but once he went down to the bench with those 3 early fouls, it really, I mean, it just you're not gonna get the full Towns the rest of the way. It feels like
here's how I feel about Karl-Anthony Towns fouling. Imagine one night you went to a gentleman's club and you decide, you know what, I'm going to go to the champagne room, and then you don't know what happened, but all of a sudden it cost you $6,000. Karl-Anthony Towns will go back to that club the next night. Like, it's just like, don't you learn from your mistakes? Like, it's been years, my guy. And I think he's covering like it was Tatum, and Tatum is crossing up in front of him, and he's reaching his little cat paws out there to try to steal the ball. He didn't get a call for it, but I'm like, Karl-Anthony Towns, you've got 4 fouls. Do you really think you're going to poke the ball away from Jason Tatum and then get a dunk on the other end? Like, just learn from your mistakes. You've earned this reputation over season after season after season. I know it's gotten to you. Why are you going back to the same gentleman's club that you just had a disastrous situation in the night before? I understand it can happen once, but why are you going Tuesday and Wednesday?
Because he's an alcoholic and he can't help himself.
He can't help himself.
He can't help himself.
He can't help himself.
Can't help himself. So do you look at it and we get like, look, I think and we're going to get to this when we talk about Cavs Pacers, because I happened to go look up the shot quality on Cavs Pacers, and it was exactly what I thought it was going to be, which is the Cavs should have won that game by a ton.
Yeah.
But they missed a million threes that they normally make.
One was beautiful,
you think the same is going to be true with this?
They weren't the same game, but I do feel like there is a regression to the mean, and I'm not an analytics guy or whatever, but it's like, yeah, I think the Celtics missed a bunch of shots they normally make, and I think the Knicks also played poorly. Karl-Anthony Towns wasn't even in the game, and they need him.
Yeah, so I haven't seen the number yet, but I bet what we're going to find is this, like, again, and I always say this, that's what would have happened if the game was played on paper. Unfortunately for the team that loses, it's not. It's actually played on a basketball court. But there's so much of this, if you're just saying these are the players that took the shots, these are the kind of shots they took, here's what normally happens when that happens. And there's a million different extenuating circumstances, not the least of which is many times, look, there's a big difference between Sam Merrill shooting on a Tuesday night, open corner 3 against the Charlotte Hornets,
of course,
at home, than there is in a high pressurized second round playoff game.
But those, I would say the difference was, I think the Celtics had the game won. The place was rocking. Everyone's on their feet. They had just gone through a pretty easy series against the Magic. The second half, they just kind of took over of every game except for game 3. And they just kind of like coasted through that one. And they kind of looked at themselves. They were playing not to lose. And the Knicks were playing with nothing to lose.
Can I just say this too? I hate that basketball. Like, I hate it. And I know
all threes.
Look, I hate it. And I know that somewhere deep down in his soul, Bill Simmons does too, as a true connoisseur of the game. And I got it. I know it's the math. I know it's the numbers. I know it worked out and it won him a championship. It's not enjoyable.
No, I mean, for me, it's not. Let's just talk like
they just shot a million threes.
No, I don't want to talk about the ratings or like aesthetically pleasing or ethical or whatever. For me, it's about winning basketball games. If you took 1 2-point attempt in an entire 12-minute quarter of basketball, that is not winning basketball. I'm not talking about ratings or what I want to see. It just seems like dumb basketball. It seems like losing.
I just don't want to watch it.
If you're behind by 30 and the only chance you got is to hit a bunch of threes and you got some horses that can hit threes for you, fine. But like, knowing that Tatum is going to step back, knowing that when you get an offensive rebound, you're going to try to find an open shooter, and knowing that you're going to swing to the guy in the corner, it just, to me, seems predictable. And it seems like, oh, we know what you're going to do. If you don't have versatility in what you're doing in any profession, then it's going to become too easy.
I understand the math of it. I just don't enjoy watching it.
I don't understand the math of it.
Basketball.
I don't understand the math of it. I don't think you'll ever see that again for the rest of your life. I don't think you'll ever see for the rest of your life 1 2-point attempt in an entire quarter of a playoff basketball game for the rest of your life. I'm serious. I didn't think it was real when you texted it to me.
It happened.
The Mismatch is brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are finally here, and there's no better way to be a part of the action than with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. After another competitive season, the top teams are ready to battle their way through the playoff bracket in hopes of taking home the championship. And if you think you know how it's going to go down, then make those predictions pay off with FanDuel, an NBA profit boost. Simply make your bet, activate your boost, and go for even bigger winnings. We love that you listen to The Mismatch, and one thing that you will find on The Mismatch is me and Chris don't always agree on everything, especially the 2 series that are featured this evening, Tuesday, May 6th. I think the Cavs are going to bounce back and get game 2 in Cleveland, and I think they're going to do it by a lot. That's something I feel. I'll be activating that on my FanDuel app. And I also think that the Golden State Warriors, they took the young Rockets to 7, but I think the Wolves are just too big and too good. And Anthony Edwards is that guy. I think he's going to score a lot of points. And I think that the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to easily win that game. So whether you want to agree with me or go with what you feel, open up that FanDuel app and get active, because these are the best times to be an NBA fan. Don't just be a spectator this postseason. Head to FanDuel.com/mismatch to download America's #1 sportsbook and make every moment more. Remember, you must be 21 and over and present in select states, or 18 and over and present in DC. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as a non-withdrawable profit boost token. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com.
All right, let's talk about what the other series that has already started, which was that Pacers-Cavaliers game. Look, when the building was on fire and Donovan Mitchell had raced to the basket, 5 straight times it felt like, and then hammered down that dunk, and the crowd's going crazy, and it was like, this thing is turning. And then the Pacers settled down, got a couple buckets, got a lead back before the fourth quarter began, and then the fourth quarter was just this cavalcade of winning play after winning play after winning play. I was Avalanche. Like, it was mega impressive. But as you know, I was texting you during that one. It was not extreme like what was happening with the Celtics, but I was like, the Cavaliers are generating open three after open three after open three. And like eventually these are going to start dropping. And they really never did. I think they ended up 9 for 38. And it was like, okay, they're just not winning a game like that. They're not winning a game like that. And I'll say on the Pacers' behalf, boy, if you miss a shot, it's just pressure. You just got to keep running the whole time. They fly, and they push the ball up they pace and space you to death. And meanwhile, like I mentioned, the Cavs were 9 for 38 from 3. Pacers shot 53% from 3. I mean, that was their 4th best mark of the entire season. Right. So these are pretty evenly matched teams, much more evenly matched than the Vegas odds indicated. They're not that far off. And Cavs, I'm saying, especially without Garland, like the Cavs need Garland back. And if you look at like the last 50 games, I heard Bill talking about this. The record's like, I think there's 1 game difference in the record. Like the Pacers have sneaky been, like people have not been paying attention, but the Pacers have been playing at this super high level for a very long time now. And so it feels like this is going to be a series that truly goes back and forth. I would be very surprised if we're not looking at 6 or 7 in this.
I think we'll get there. I think a lot of it is not a ton of national games, and like no real superstar like Siakam. It doesn't show up on like the Instagram feed algorithm.
Well, Halliburton has become.
Halliburton has shown up, but like Nembhard, like dude, like
I know,
like Nembhard is like climbing my rankings of dudes I want on my team so fast. You know,
well, the other thing is they got an edge to them too. They got some guys, Turner can get real feisty, and obviously Mathurin is about as feisty as it comes. Nesmith as well. Like you saw when that scene where Mathurin, he's barking at DeAndre Hunter at the free throw line, whatever, and then there's like a few plays later, and I did not think I thought he should have been called for a foul. They challenged it and it stayed, but the block he had on Hunter at the rim, and then stood over him like bitch, and I was like, whoa.
Well, also there's a reason Giannis had to like a little chit chat with him. There's a reason.
Yes.
He wasn't congratulate him on a good series and say you got a bright future, kid. That's not what Giannis was saying to him.
No, they've got some edge to him too, and so that was super fun game to watch.
Yeah, and it did like 1,000% come through on the TV, but I believe the announcers, like it got loud in there. And it also does in the field house as well. Like I think that's at least a 6-game series. I still think the Cavs win that one ultimately, but
they need Garland back to do it.
Yes,
they need Garland.
I think it's like for us to overlook the fact that Garland's wearing a jean jacket instead of a Cavs jersey is kind of like, and I did listen to Bill's pod as well, and I think that might have been a little bit of an overreaction about the Pacers. I'm like, well, they're missing their second best player, which does like everything for them,
right? It changes the whole thing.
Yeah, of course it does. I'm picking the Cavs to win that series, and I could never pick against the Knicks, but I think the Thunder are going to win their series, and I think the Wolves win their series.
Of course you do. All right, so let's get to the Wolves and the Warriors. And I saw, much like the Wolves and the Lakers, where I think it was 11 out of 12, or no, it was every ESPN personality outside of, I believe, my buddy Tim Bontemps picked the Los Angeles Lakers, and I guess they have not learned their lesson, or they just all feel the exact same way. But I think they polled 12 of them in the graphic I saw this evening, and 11 of them picked the Minnesota Timberwolves, and I'm like,
I thought the Lakers were winning too.
Are you gonna?
I thought the Lakers were winning too.
Are you gonna learn your lesson on this one? Well, you were at ESPN for 20-something years, so that's the reason.
It's good for business. It's good for business, Verno.
Look, here's what I'm gonna tell you. A lot of times we'll sit there, we'll go, oh, well, it took 7 games for the Warriors to beat Houston. Like, I think Houston was a very formidable opponent. And it took everything they had for the Warriors to get past them. And then we're going to say, oh, and the Wolves, they made light work of the Lakers. They just bombed them out. And so then the natural conclusion is, look at how impressive the Timberwolves were, and look at how much, the Warriors had to do just to beat the Rockets. And all I would say is this. A, the Rockets were the 2 seed this year in the Western Conference. Like that is so. They were the 2 seed. Okay. Also, the very beginning of this, and again, I know I fall on deaf ears. I talked to you about who's the second best guy. And you were big on, trust me, Julius Randle is going to let you down. Julius Randle is going to let you down.
Wrong.
But we said he's the second best guy, right? And I said to you at that point, I said, trust me, we're going to get to this moment. And I'm saying, do not overlook this Warriors thing. Their second best player has been the best player on a guy that carried a team to the finals twice. That's their second best player.
Okay.
All right.
Wait. That was the same voice that was talking about the third best guy on the Lakers. and how the Wolves had so many great defenders to throw at him. So that that second Chris Vernon is the one that I'm agreeing with, not the first Chris Vernon. The second Chris Vernon is the one that I'm rocking with. That one.
Okay. So now I think what you're going to find though is it's not the other end of the court. It's not that offensive end of the court that I'm talking about. It's the defensive end of the court. And what's going to happen, I was actually going to support you, and I would say, I'm going to bet you Randall doesn't look like he did in that Lakers series.
That's fair to say.
I'm going to bet you Jaden McDaniels ain't going for 30. The Warriors are great at making you not do what you want to do. That's what they're great at. And they have now evolved into this team that is totally fine with doing we'll run a play, you run a play. Now let's have an execution war.
Well,
right?
I hope they all evolve 4 inches taller because they're just too small to beat the Wolves.
And that is
they're just too small. They're just too small.
I've seen someone on the Warriors sleeper hold the center on the Timberwolves. I've seen
nothing to do with basketball. Yeah, nothing to do with basketball. Well, and also, I saw that clip like yesterday on my algorithm timeline, and Rudy Gobert kind of had nothing to do with that interaction. Just Draymond just saw an opportunity to choke Rudy Gobert, and he's like, "I'm doing it." Rudy wasn't even like a principal actor in that interaction. There's no reason to chokehold him there.
I think this is going to be super fun to watch, and I think people are vastly overlooking the Warriors. Vastly. I don't know what they have to do over the course of, I guess it's just like, yeah, that was a cute round 1 win and they're, old and, cool. But like, it's Steph Curry, bro.
Put me in that camp.
Bro.
Put me in that camp. I'm overlooking the Warriors.
How many times do I have to see it?
I do not think they have a chance against the Wolves. I don't.
You didn't think they had a chance? Everybody thought they were going to lose to the Rockets.
I'm watching Game 7 of Rockets Warriors. I'm looking at it being like, neither of these teams can stand up to the Timberwolves. I've been wrong about so many things. I'm wrong all the time.
I'm going to tell you this. The Warriors are going to make the Timberwolves look a lot worse than the Lakers ever did, at least for a couple games.
That's fair.
They will.
That's fair.
Because they're going to be able to scheme up a defense that the Lakers just frankly cannot scheme up at all. The Lakers have no perimeter defenders. None. They have one. Well, Dorian. They've won.
Yeah.
Dorian Finney-Smith. And have no rim protection. So if you can't guard the perimeter and you can't guard the rim, you're at quite the disadvantage.
I felt the same way about the Nuggets and the Thunder, and watch what happened tonight. I felt the same way. I was like, the Thunder go 10 deep. The Nuggets have no depth. The Thunder have the number 1 defense in the league. And the Nuggets have Jokic.
Yeah.
And Russell Westbrook. And look at what happened tonight.
Well, Anthony Edwards has said he wants the Warriors. All I'd say is be careful what you wish for. But I'm not saying they aren't going to win the series. I don't know the way it's going to play out. I'm saying the way people are talking about this series has made me really go, I don't know how many times Steph Curry has to do this. How many times does he have to do this? How many times does he have to do this?
How many times does Anthony Edwards, who's what, 23, 24?
Yep.
And he's beaten Booker and KD.
He also lost to the Mavs last year.
But he beat Luka and LeBron this year.
Yeah.
And then for the next thing to do is to take down Steph. It's just the natural order of things.
Oh, wow. How crazy.
Natural order of things.
Okay, this show, literally the first episode of this show began with you talking about him being overrated, and now we're to the point where he's going to knock off Steph Curry. And why don't you put him on Mount Rushmore already? He's still young, too. I'm a vet guy. I
know you are. But let me tell you something. Let me tell you 2 things because I'll just be a good transition. Beginning of the 3rd quarter, my Knicks fan group chat started talking about potential trades for Giannis.
Oh my God. Come on. I mean, I kind of felt bad.
Giannis.
I kind of felt bad for, again, I guess it's exciting if you're a Rockets fan, But I mean, it just turned immediately. As soon as the Rockets lost, it turned immediately into, is it KD? Is it Giannis? Is it whatever? And it's like, and then like all these guys, like they just won the 2 seed. They're so young. And
you felt bad for a young team with a lot of potential that won the 2 seed. I can't imagine why you.
I'm just saying that like the whole thing turned into trade our team and for a star, which obviously people trading for stars has worked out extremely well for everyone who've looked over the course of the past.
Anthony Davis won championship. That sounds pretty good,
right? Oh, yeah. Really? The fake bubble championship? Come on,
no, that was a real championship.
Okay. Yeah, you saw that Cleveland environment, and then you thought, wow, the bubble was hard to win in. Get the fuck out of here. How does anybody watch these playoffs and then think the bubble championship was hard? That's crazy. Did you see Cleveland on Sunday, what the Pacers had to go win in? They're playing in front of a bunch of 5 people in masks.
Don't forget the wall of fans on Zoom. Wall of fans on Zoom. There's a wall of fans on Zoom.
Phoniest title ever. All right. Anyway.
Stop it.
Let me tell you this. I'm going to give you the biggest zag of all time.
Oh, I'd love to hear it.
This is bigger than me being the only person somehow that still thinks the Warriors could win. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Man, I would not trade Jalen Green. I think this is everybody hates Jalen Green now. Everybody hates him. And I think that's crazy. He is 23. Listen to what Ime Udoka said. Listen to what Fred VanVleet said. Listen to what Steven Adams said. He just turned 23 years old. That team doesn't have one player that can shoot on it. One.
Not one.
Not
Van
one.
VanVleet is their sharpshooter.
I'm telling you, I think Jalen Green is going to be one of the top 5 scorers in the NBA.
Ooh, I love this. Okay, can I? I'm gonna do a mini Zag. I'm gonna do a Zagito. I think
they would rue the day that there's no space on that team. There's nothing. This guy is one of the most individually talented players there is, and he got blitzed, and they shaded him, and they made him see 2, and he just fumbled. He was terrible. His own admission, he was terrible. What I'm telling you is that was the first time through. That was the first time experiencing it. He will get better for it. And if there is a very small percentage of guys that have that kind of talent. I'm sorry. And I got it. I don't know why everybody hates Jalen Green so much, but he was, by the way, the leading scorer on a team that just won the 2 seed. At 23 years old.
It sounds so familiar.
And everybody's like, oh, just get rid of Jalen Green. I mean, look, if you could.
Listen, I would get rid of Jalen Green because his value is so low right now. Because if I'm at the negotiation table with someone, they're like, oh, well, we saw what he just did in the playoffs. So you're not going to get a lot of value for him. I believe in his potential. But here's the guy that really pissed me off is if you look at the box score, Alperen Sengun had a great game 7. But watching the game, he frustrated me so much. How many times do I have to watch this man turn his back to his defender, do one spin over his right shoulder, and then take a jump hook, and then miss it, and then throw both of his arms in the air, acting like he got fouled? It's the exact same move every time. Back into the defender, spin move, jump hook, over and over and over again. And he's had like 23 points and 15 rebounds or whatever, but he was so frustrating to me in that game.
You know, when people try to bring up the Jokic stuff with him.
No, because his highlight passes, he has some fancy passes once in a while.
Dude, you know what he is? He's whiny Sabonis. That's what he is. He's whiny Sabonis.
Sabonis can hit a 15-footer. Yeah, like he has highlight passes once in a while, so people call him Jokic. But like I was watching that game, I was rooting for the Rockets because I just like think they're fun to watch, and I was so mad at Sengun.
They're not fun to watch like offense.
They can't score. I don't know. I just like Ahmed Thompson. Yeah.
Well, and I think I heard Ryan say, he said something like, you're not going to get the most out of it's going to stunt Ahmed's development, so you got to get Jalen Green out of there. And I'm thinking to myself, last year there was that like whole month and a half that Sengun was out. And you finally got his ass out of the way.
And everybody played better.
Created some space and Jalen Green was averaging like 35 a game. And Ahmed Thompson was playing power forward in the dunker spot, and Jabari Smith was going crazy. And I'm like, to me, I'd get rid of Şengün before if we're talking trying to make a trade somewhere. Like, I don't know. I don't get the Jalen Green. Like,
well, tell me this.
I don't get it.
And, we just watched the Knicks and Pistons series, and I'm gonna say some unpopular things as well. This is the zag portion of the podcast. I'm ready to zag a little bit. You gotta shoot. You gotta have a jump shot. Like, if you're gonna be a top tier guy, and you just gotta be able to hit like a 12-footer, a floater. The Thompson twins, I know because I just went through the Pistons series. I watched the Rockets series. Like, they do amazing things around the basket, but I gotta be able to. And like Tari Eason, you're a great defender, but I just want to see you confidently rise up from 17 feet and knock down a jump shot and jog back.
Just do you know how hard? And that's where my defensive green comes in. You know how hard it is to be a guy that could beat anybody off the dribble, but the corner guy can literally always come out and get in your way, or the big guy can always make you see a second guy. Like, nobody is honoring you kicking it out to Ahmed Thompson, Dylan Brooks, or Fred VanVleet. Nobody cares.
You've got Thompson, Şengün, and Adams on the floor at the same time. None of those people can shoot from outside of 6 feet from the basket. Right. So where are their defenders going to be? Like, they literally can't shoot from further than 6 feet from the basket. Like, they're like restricted area defenders. So then, but my criticism of the Rockets is like, I was texting with my buddy Ben Dietrich. Shout out to Dietrich. And he was like, I texted him. I was like, they're like chess pieces, but none of them are a queen. They all do one thing and one thing only and one thing well. You know what I mean? It's like Şengün's going to back you down and hit a jump hook. And Jalen Green's going to have a nice, like, clutchy, cool finish layup. And then Thompson's going to make a great defensive play and then maybe dunk, or like get a rebound and put back dunk, or put him in the dunker spot and he'll dunk. But like, none of them can do two things offensively. None of them. None of them.
I will say this, though. They lost a game 7 to a team that's won a myriad of playoff games over the years. And my prediction is what we're going to find out as this plays out. While everybody watched both of those and now thinks the Wolves are just going to make light work of the Warriors, what we're going to find out is that Houston was better than you thought they were, and the Lakers were worse than you thought they were. That's going to be the takeaway from this.
I like this. Just let me finish with one thing, because, you know, we watch these games and we watch these commercials over and over again. And there's a new one that I can't fucking stand. There's a new one. The 3 guys on the Thunder dressing up in the same outfit. God, I hate that commercial so much. I can't watch it anymore. I hate it so much.
You can't do that. You can't do that. This is a Thunder love program. You can't do that.
No.
Aaron Gordon!
I texted you and I was going to wear this outfit first. Oh, no, that's so crazy. You're wearing the same thing that I'm wearing to this event. It was just for like a banker. I don't even know what it's for. I have no idea what it's for. But every time it's on, it makes my blood boil. That it just would never happen in a million years. And like, I know how this industry works. Do you know how many millions of dollars? Do you know how many minds worked on this commercial? It's like the ad agency is like, well, what do we know about these Thunderstars? Oh, they're young and upcoming and they're the number 1 team, so let's invest in them, because then their commercial is going to run through the playoffs. Like the Jalen Green one, the people that invested $1 million in that are like, oh shit, like the wing stop or whatever. Tough. The biggest, the largest, like the biggest, the largest. I hate that one too. But now they're like, at least the guys in the Thunder ones that invested millions of dollars, but then the people in the marketing company, they hired an agency. They get a bunch of like hipster people, you know, doing their hipster thing. And there's like 10 writers around a table being like, what do we know about the Thunder guys? Oh, they like clothing. Oh, SGA likes to wear crazy clothes. You know what? Chet, he likes to wear crazy clothes. And what's the other guy's name? Jalen Williams. They don't even know which Jalen Williams they want to pick. I'm surprised they didn't pick the wrong Jalen Williams. Oh, they like to wear crazy clothes. Do you know what they would really hate? If they all went to some fancy event and they wore the exact same outfit. That would really get in their craw. And then I can't watch it anymore. I will pay millions of dollars for them to stop running that. They literally invested like $40-50 million in that shitty commercial that makes me mad every time I see it. I literally can't even tell you what it's for. I can't.
Okay, this is crazy. This is crazy.
What?
I have a TV on in the background.
It's on right now?
But they've updated it, and Aaron Gordon comes and rips their heart out and takes a piss on it.
Yes! Everything I said, I take it back.
They've updated the commercial.
Aaron Gordon just strips them all naked. Yeah. Makes them run through the town square.
And just starts urinating.
Now you're all wearing the same outfit.
My piss. All right. It's going to do it for tonight's show. Jacoby, I'll catch up with you later this week.
Right. Must be 21 and over and present in select states for Kansas in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 and over and present in D.C. Got a gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.